The following is a production of Stevenson Media. Want to tip the host? Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Get a free Houston Sports State of the Union podcast t-shirt with a donation of $50 or more.
This is the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Houston Sports Nation, Nick Stevenson.
My goodness, please be seated. My fellow Houstonians, welcome to this Houston Sports State of the Union address for the week of September 1st. I am the self-appointed president of Houston Sports Nation, Nick Stevenson. Houston, it's football season, officially. There's actually a game being played right now. Some of you may be keeping an eye on that between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. I say kapooey. It's football time in Houston. In just 3 days, it'll be week 1, Texans versus Colts. I'm going to give you my 3 keys for the Texans to get a dub. Also, there's a very new Texans podcast that I think you guys are going to love, and I'm going to tell you where to find it later on in the show. What is up with the Astros and the Reds? After getting swept by a team with only 66 wins, does that mean doom and gloom for our Astros? We'll get into it. And will we see Kyle Tucker play baseball before October? We'll get into that as well. As always, there are 1,000 different things you could be doing this evening, but you chose to spend a little bit of time with me, and I appreciate it. What do you say we get through this episode incident-free? I'll be much obliged if we can do that, and I hope that you will as well. The first thing I want to do, guys, is remind you of the ways you can support the show. One of them you're doing already. You're watching. Hopefully by now you've decided to click that share button, share it with your friends, share it with your family. Remind them to please hit follow, like, subscribe, wherever they get their podcast fix. You can listen to the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. If you prefer not to watch your podcast, it's available on Spotify, on Apple, on iHeartRadio. Pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, you'll be able to find us. And for those of you who like to view the podcast, obviously we are live right now on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitch. And we are live on the app formerly known as Twitter. So if you're here right now, please share at least with one person. Maybe share with 5 people. Ask that person to share with 5 people. The way we're going to grow this thing to where it is a Houston sports staple is if all of you guys continue to do what you're doing, and that's watching and sharing, and I really appreciate that. Another way you can support the show, if you're watching, I've got a QR code in the bottom corner. If you're not watching, if you're listening, you will find a link to the tip jar. That's what the QR code is for. I apologize. For my tip jar. If you would like to leave a tip to the show, anything you leave me goes directly back to the show. A donation of $50 or more will get you one of these sweet Houston Sports State of the Union podcast t-shirts, or perhaps a hat, a tote bag, a golf bag. I don't know about a golf bag, but I'll find you something that you like. I promise you that. If you leave me a donation of $50 or more, please remember to take a screenshot and either email it to me at hsstateoftheunionpod@gmail.com. If you got my phone number, you can text it to me, or you can hit me up in the DMs on any of the socials and let me know that you've sent that donation, because it will not have your name on it. It'll be anonymous. But if I know it's you, then I can make sure I get you your Houston Sports State of the Union podcast merch. Now, if you'd like to win some merch, I would love to do that, man. We can take calls later on in the show. I'd love to do some Houston sports trivia. I would love to give away free t-shirt, free hat, whatever. If it's got Houston Sports State of the Union on it, I want to give it away. So you guys, if you're interested in doing that, I will give you an opportunity to call in later, and maybe we can give away some merch. But those are all the ways you can support the show. Also, really quick, there are affiliate links in the description, both for Houston Sports fan gear. If you want to get a t-shirt, a hat, if you're already going to the game, might as well, and you know you're going to buy some gear, might as well use my Amazon link, right? And give me a little bit of change from it. So I appreciate that. And then also, if you are interested in sponsorship, I do have some spaces available for that as well remaining. I would love to represent your business, and let's grow our businesses together. If you're interested in that, you will also please email me at hsstateoftheunionpod@gmail.com. All right. I think I covered all the ways you can support the show, and you're doing it once again. Thank you guys so much for being here. Why don't we go ahead and get into it? Let's start with the state of the Houston Texans. Week 1 is finally here. Finally, we can stop speculating, and instead, we can start overreacting to every win, to every loss that happens in this 17-week season. That is the one thing about football being only a 17-week season, is it's the only sport where overreacting is probably slightly justified because the games are so crucial, because they're so important. So I understand when people decide that one loss, one win could make or break your season. That's understandable. What I want to say, about this season is there has not been a Houston Texans season. And let me think about this before I say it. Yes, there has not been a Houston Texans season that I have been more excited and more optimistic about this team. Not since 2011, which in my opinion is the only other Texans team I ever thought had a really legitimate shot to win a Super Bowl. And I would venture to say, at least on paper, this team should be better. So I'm extremely excited. What I want to know from you guys in the chat, or if you guys call in later, I would like to know on a scale of 1 to 10, now that preseason's over, the roster's set, the injury report has come out, and I'm going to show you guys that in just a little bit. I want to know on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence going into week 1, going into Indianapolis to take on the Indianapolis Colts? I believe last week we approached this subject briefly, and I gave you guys, some of you guys gave a 10. I know that CJ was in the chat last week, and he said 10 out of 10, he's confident in this team. And you should be. CJ, this is obviously, we've talked very much about what this team has done in the offseason, how they finished off last season with all of the additions, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Danielle Hunter. You should be excited. And we know NFL is any given Sunday. You guys know that I try to pump the brakes, and I'm not going to say look objectively. It's not objective. Obviously I want the Texans to win, but I don't want to have those rose-colored glasses when it comes to my football team. As a matter of fact, when we went over the schedule when it was released, you guys may recall, I had the Texans taking an L in this game. Now, that was several months ago, and there's a couple of things that I want to point out headed into this game. And I've already told you, on a confidence level as far as the team is concerned, I'm at about an 8. And then I saw Anthony Richardson play in the preseason, and I got to say, man, I think I'm changing my mind on this game. I am very confident in the Texans' ability to obviously go on the road in Indianapolis and win a football game. So what are my expectations from this team if I believe that they have a chance to win? Well, I'm going to say this. Let me go player by player. Joe Mixon, who we did not see at all in the preseason, unless you were at Texans practice, and if you were, lucky you. What is my expectation, from Joe Mixon? Well, my expectation is for him to do what he's done for his entire career, and that's run the football well. I think that it's reasonable to expect, if this running game offensive line is improved the way that we hope it is, I think it's reasonable to expect him to rush for somewhere between 90 to 100 yards. That's my expectation from him. If he does anything less than that, I'm probably going to be disappointed. Stephon Diggs is another addition, huge addition to this team. What do I expect from him? This may come as a surprise to you, but I actually don't expect anything spectacular. And it's not that I don't think he can. I don't think he has to be spectacular on this team. This is what I expect from him. I expect for him to show leadership, be consistent, and make catches when he's targeted. I know 100% he can do that. The leadership piece, we've talked about that on this show a few times, how there's a narrative about Stephon Diggs that honestly, you never hear anybody from his locker room say anything negative about him. It's always chatter from the outside. It's always unnamed sources. And everyone on this Houston Texans team, to a man, has said Stephon Diggs is a leader on this team. Stephon Diggs is a professional. He tries to help everyone out. And if you trust D'Amico Ryans, he put a C on his chest. So we got to believe what we're hearing them say versus what the narrative that we're hearing people talk about in the media, right? So that's really all I expect from him. Stephon, just do your job, man. Show leadership, and when you're targeted, catch that thing and run it. I don't care if you score touchdowns. Obviously, we want you to score touchdowns, but you don't got to have 100 yards in this game and, 8, 9, 10 catches. Just be consistent. And when you're called upon, do your job. And that's really what you want the whole team to do. But that's all I really expect from Stephon Diggs is for him to be a professional wide receiver. Straight up. Daniil Hunter, another new addition to this team, hometown guy. I believe he's from Katy. What do I expect from him? I expect him to be disruptive, especially in the run game, which we're going to need. We'll get into that a little bit later. Be disruptive in the run game, and I want you to get at least 1 sack, but multiple pressures. If you want to get more sacks, brother, go ahead, please. Daniil Hunter is a beast, and we combine him with Will Anderson Jr. I'm looking in the chat right now. My buddy Cody Bunker, what's up, bud? He says it's time for H-Town to get on the championship map for football. Hashtag Bulls on Parade. 2011. That was the original Bulls on Parade. That's the last time I felt like this team had a legit shot to win a championship. Reason being is because they had that defense that they had with Mario Williams, a rookie J.J. Watt, D'Amico Ryans, Brian Cushing, Connor Barwin. That team was beast. And then offensively, you had a very capable quarterback in Matt Schaub. You had a great running back with Arian Foster. And you had possibly the GOAT of Houston Texans football, Andre Johnson. So you had the offense, you had the defense. This Texans team, we know they have the offense. We believe they may have made the right moves on defense to be a championship contender. What is your confidence level, though? Week 3 against the Colts last season, and I understand it's a new team, it's a different team, but I went back and watched that game today on NFL Plus Premium, $14.99 a month. It's better than $700. $14.99 a month. I wonder what I wonder what Cheap Pete thinks about that.
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
It's not that bad, Cheap Pete. It could be worse. It could be worse. But no, I was watching the Week 3 game over, and this is what I remember now that I didn't remember. Yes, Anthony Richardson did a very good job running the ball. He did not do a great job throwing the ball. What I also remember is Jonathan Taylor was not in that game. We found out in week 18 what Jonathan Taylor is capable of. But I'm telling you, when I watched that game, number one, CJ Stroud had not become CJ Stroud yet. He had a turnover in that game. I think a fumble lost. There was a lot of mistakes that he made holding on to the ball too long. I'm just what I was trying to do is I was wanting to see, hey, let's see what the Colts look like with Anthony Richardson. Now, we also watched Anthony Richardson in the preseason, and he did not look good. And I was in the AFC South war zone today talking a lot of trash because I asked the question after week 1, who will be leading the AFC South? And you guys, if you're familiar with this show, you know that Facebook group is full of Texans, Colts, Jags, and Titans fans. And a lot of people were saying that the Colts were going to be leading the division after week 1. And I made the comment that maybe if Michael Pittman Jr. and the other Colts receivers put on Texans jerseys, then AR-15 might throw them the ball. I'm telling you, just based on what I saw from last season and what I've seen in the preseason and what I know the Texans can be, my confidence level in this game has definitely ramped up. And I told you guys, I'm switching my pick. I believe the Texans will win tomorrow. Now, what are they going to have to do? Craig Rouse is in the building. What's up, Bubba? He says he's also a level 8. That's reasonable, right? I want you to tell me, guys, in the chat, Craig, Cody, what do you think the key to the win is going to be? I'm going to give you my 3 keys right now. The Texans will win this game if, number 1, they can consistently run the ball, especially on first down. Now, I know that they were successful last season not running the ball well, but I'm telling you, if you give this offense a running game with the weapons it already has in the pass game, they're going to be unstoppable. If you can run the ball well on first down, get 4 or 5 yards, and have second and short, third and short, now the playbook is wide open for CJ, for Bobby Slowick, and we've seen what they can do with a wide open playbook. If they can run the ball, man, I'm telling you, man, if they can run the ball well, I'm not going to say blowout, but I think they'll win the game handily. If they can keep the Colts offense off the field, and if they can run the ball and spread out the ball to all those weapons, like it might not even be close at that point. That takes me to my second key. They have to contain AR-15. Anthony Richardson cannot run for 60, 70, 80 yards on you. You have to try as best as you can to keep him from using his legs. Make him pass the ball. Because when he does that, he's not good. He wasn't good last year in game 3 when he was throwing the ball. All the damage he did was on the ground. So last season, we know that the defense wasn't bad. It wasn't great. With the additions now that we have on this team with this new front seven, they should be much, much better at containing and keeping him inside the pocket, forcing him to throw the ball. And then when he does run, not letting him break loose for those large gains and those big home run plays. Number 3, don't let Jonathan Taylor run for 200 yards, please. Please. If you can do that, you're probably going to win the game. Jonathan Taylor is a beast, man. I'm not going to lie. He worries me a little bit. He was very, very good in week 18. And had he been in the game and not Tyler Goodson, this may be a completely different conversation we're having about this Texans team and about this season. We won't go there now, but we all remember the play. For some reason, Shane Steichen, who's this incredible coach, decided to take the man who was dominating the Houston Texans out of the game in the most important play of their entire season. Hey, look, the Texans took advantage of the situation, and that's all you can ask your team to do. But all I'm saying is that JT, he's healthy. He's got his money. We cannot let him break loose for almost 200 yards like he did in week 18. So, because this kind of coincides, I have 3 points that they will win and they will lose. The Texans will lose if the Colts rush for over 150 yards. If you let Jonathan Taylor get over a hundo, and like I said, you let Anthony Richardson run for 40, 50, 60, 70 yards, you're probably not winning this game. They will lose once again if they can't run the ball effectively and sustain drives, and they will lose. Maybe it's cliche, but if they lose a turnover battle. But I don't think any of that's going to be a problem. I want to see what some of your guys' suggestions are. Let me start with Cody Bunker. He says, question for you, Mr. President. What are your thoughts about the sophomore jinx that everyone talks about? Do you think that our second-year guys will be affected by that? And he also said the Texans will win. All right, let me start with, obviously, the most important sophomore guy, CJ Stroud. Let me tell you why I don't worry about him having a sophomore slump. And by sophomore slump, I mean him just completely falling off the face of the earth. Is it possible that he struggles a little bit in some games? Yes. Is it possible that maybe his numbers, his production is not jumping off the page as much as it did last season? That's possible. We know all the cliches. There's tape on him now. There's tape on Bobby Slowick. They know your tendencies. Okay. I'll give the NFL credit where credit is due. There's a lot of smart people in the league and a lot of smart coaches and a lot of smart coordinators. However, this is what I know about CJ Stroud. The dude, number one, he's not scared of the moment. We saw that in week 18 in the biggest game of his professional career. He went into Indianapolis, and the first play of the game throws a 75-yard bomb to Nico Collins. He has no fear, and that tells me that these coaches trust him. What I know about CJ Stroud is his head is in that playbook at all times, and he's not just watching film on himself. He's watching film on other quarterbacks. He's watching film on Patrick Mahomes, on Matthew Stafford. He's watching film on guys that he respects. Tom Brady. He's watching. He's a student of the game, and he wants to be better. And that's why I believe a sophomore jinx for him. Maybe he throws a few more interceptions, but I don't think he's just going to completely fall off the face of the earth. If in his rookie season, with fewer weapons around him, he had his name in the MVP conversation all the way up until the time that he got concussed, then I have no reason to believe his name won't at least be in the conversation as the rest of this year continues, barring injury, obviously, which everything this season is going to be contingent on that. So let's all collectively knock on some wood. Craig Rouse says they need to run efficiently. One of my keys, absolutely. Consistent pressure from the front four. Yeah, that's for sure. And then I think Will Anderson Jr., you know, in the advanced statistics, was one of the best players in the league as far as getting pressures and affecting the quarterback. And he did get home for some sacks. Obviously, he became the rookie of the year. But I think with Daniil Hunter on the other side of him, Danico Autry whenever he comes back from his suspension, and don't get me wrong, I like Edwards? Give me his first name, Craig. I'm doing the name thing again. At least I'm not having an anxiety attack though. So let's count our blessings. But yeah, so I believe that the front four is better. I believe the linebacking core, even losing Blake Cashman, this is what does concern me. And it reminds me that I need to show you guys so far the Thursday injury report. But we talked about it earlier that there are some injuries to Christian Harris. He is on IR. And also, this was last week's show, Christian Harris is on IR and Heinisch is on IR. So that's some defensive power, defensive talent that you're going to be without in this game. But once again, I trust D'Amico Ryans, Mario Edwards. Thank you very much, Craig. I can always count on you with the names, except for when I call Blake Cashman, Brian Cashman on ESPN. I told you, man, you should have just sneezed or coughed. Blake Cashman. It's all good, buddy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for joining the chat as well. So yeah, who else? I'm honestly in this game, and I'm not really worried about sophomore slump with any of our guys, to be honest with you. I think Will Anderson is going to be helped by the fact that the defense is improved and there's another quarterback hunter, you know, on the other side of him. Those two guys, man, I just don't worry about them. I think they're good guys. They play the game the right way. And I think that, yeah, I'm not really concerned about them having a slump. I'm a little bit concerned about our secondary because we have some rookies that are probably going to be playing some big time minutes. And it's not that I don't believe in them. I mean, obviously, D'Amico Ryans has a lot of trust in Kamari Lassiter because he is number 2 on the depth chart as far as cornerbacks are concerned. And I believe Kalen Bullock is going to be starting at safety, whether they're in nickel or not. So that tells me that, like I said, I trust D'Amico Ryans, man. And I trust him to make the best out of whoever is on the field. Christian Harris is a big loss, in my opinion. But I do trust D'Amico Ryans, and I trust the guys that I've seen step up in big moments, like To'o. I think he could have... I think with Christian Harris being out, this is just an opportunity for him to step up and to play big. So I'm extremely excited, man. I'm not worried about the second year guys. The rookies, here's the thing. I think they're going to test Kamari Lassiter. It doesn't scare me as much because of who's throwing the ball, but I think he's going to get tested a lot early in the season. We all know the narrative on him was that he doesn't have the speed, that he wasn't the Texans' first choice, yada, yada, yada. I don't believe in any of that. I trust D'Amico Ryans, and at this point, I'm beginning to trust Nick Caserio, man. Every move they make, it seems like they're just getting it right. So, yeah, I'm predicting I got a score for you. Let's lock this thing in right now. Texans 28, Colts 21. Book it. Book it right now. That is me flipping my pick. Yes, I flip-flopped. I'm a flip-flopper. You can accuse me. You can laugh at me. It's fine. They are going to win. Noon game. I believe it's on CBS this week. If you don't have CBS, once again, you can pay $700 for Sunday ticket. Actually, Sunday ticket will probably black out the Texans game anyway. Don't worry about that. But man, whether you're going to the game, whether you're watching it on TV at home, whether you're going to a sports bar with your friends, whether you're going to a sports bar by yourself, wherever you are consuming Houston Texans football, it is a wonderful time to be a Texans fan in the city of Houston. And you know what it's also a wonderful time for? It's a wonderful time to do a Houston Texans podcast. And I'm really, really happy and proud to announce that both myself and my former competition in the ESPN Rock the Mic competition, Ruben Cavallo, are doing a Houston Texans podcast together. We will be releasing our first video come Friday, actually. That show will not be live. We're going to try to do 1 to 2 shows a week. The name of the podcast is the Twin Toros Podcast. I was hoping I'd have my logo to show you guys today, but the gentleman who's making the logo for us, he had to make a couple of revisions for it. We had a couple of things we needed him to tidy up for us. But yes, starting this week, our first episode of the Twin Toros Podcast will drop on Friday. It is a strictly Houston Texans podcast. Our goal is to do big things with this podcast, man. We want to do live locations, whether it be at a sports bar. We want to do live locations at a Texans tailgate, out there in the blue lot, purple lot, whatever lot will have us. Let's do the damn thing. And we want to interact with the fans, obviously. It's a great time to be a Texans fan, man. It's going to be a really exciting season, and I can't wait to do this podcast with my buddy Ruben. Thank you so much, bud. If you're watching this right now, man, first of all, I give him all the credit. He came up with the name of the show. It's fire. I think our first episode is fire. We just recorded it a couple days ago. Like I said, it's going to drop on Friday. If I can get that logo finished and I can get everything edited, I'm going to try to drop it before. I'm going to drop it before the game on Sunday, because if I drop it after the game, then the episode will kind of be obsolete. So yeah, we're going to drop that episode on sometime before Sunday. That's for sure. Let's see. I got some more score predictions, and I got some spam from Kick. Let's see. What's my first? Ricky Palacios. What's up, Bubba? He says 24-21 Texans. Okay. I'll tell you what. You guys, I'm going to write these down. If you correctly guess the score of the Texans versus Colts, I'm going to send you a t-shirt. Ricky, I owe you a t-shirt anyway. So I'll send you something else cool. Maybe a beer koozie or something like that. If you guys correctly answer or correctly guess the score of the Texans game, then I will have you guys hooked up with some Houston Sports State of the Union podcast swag. My man Craig says Texans 31, Cucks 17. Can I say that? Should I have beeped that out? This is a family show, Craig. So yeah, I'm confident. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch my team on the screen. Right now, Baltimore is losing 7-13 to Kansas City. I'm so sick of Kansas City. Somebody's got to beat them. Can it please be us? Guys, I said this in previous shows. I don't want the Texans playing in cold weather, so you know what they should do? Just get the number 1 seed in the AFC. And then the road to the Super Bowl comes through H-Town, baby. That's what I want to see. It's time for us. I will mention one thing that, a little spoiler alert from the video that me and Ruben did together. I told Ruben I'm very optimistic about this team, but I'm also a Houstonian. And Houstonians, we have many a time been optimistic and had our hearts broken. And Ruben's 26 years old. I'm 40. So this is a very odd couple. It's an odd pairing for sure. But Ruben said you got to lose that mindset. And he's 100% right. It's the reason I started this podcast, because I knew that Houston needs to lose the mindset of being the underdog or being the one that just can't get over the hump. And for some reason, wallowing in our sadness and living in this perpetual place where we just expect bad things to happen to us. No longer. The Houston Texans are legit. It doesn't matter what week they're playing. It doesn't matter what day of the week, what time slot, what channel, and who their opponent is. When the Houston Texans do what the Houston Texans do, they're going to be a great team. And I say the state of the Houston Texans is very strong. Man, it is so good to be talking about football and in a positive light. I love it. I love it. Craig Rouse says someone needs to beat the Swifties. Amen, brother. Amen to that. I think she's been on screen about 15 times already. Like, didn't we get enough of that last season? Man, I was really hoping that Travis Kelce would break up with her by now. There's still hope, guys. There's still hope. I don't know how long the average Taylor Swift relationship lasts, but we got to be getting close, right? Got to be getting close. All right, guys, really quick. If you guys still want to talk Houston Texans, like I said, I'm going to give you guys a chance to call in later if you'd like to. But I am going to switch over to the state of the Houston Astros.
Bruh.
What is up with the Astros and the Reds? Guys, do you know that the Astros have not beaten the Reds since the Obama administration? Yeah, that's right. The last time the Astros beat the Reds, it was okay for Republicans and Democrats to like each other. Not anymore. Nope. 2016 was the last time they beat the Reds. I guess they're just the kryptonite of this team. I thought it was the Athletics, but clearly it's the Reds, man. They just got swept by a team with 66 wins after sweeping Kansas City. My buddy Craig texted me earlier today. He's like, bro, what is up? How do you sweep Kansas City and then get swept by the Reds? And I told him, man, baseball is just weird like that. And it's one of the reasons why baseball is the one sport I don't panic. I don't overreact. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. I've seen too many crazy things, man. It's not just the Astros either. Like, I've just seen crazy things in baseball. 1997, the Florida Marlins, the then Florida Marlins, that crazy series they had against at the time, Cleveland Indians. When the Arizona Diamondbacks won the World Series in 2001, I was watching Game 7 at home. It was the bottom of the ninth. The Yankees were up by 2, and Mariano Rivera was coming in the game. I turned it off. Game over. I don't want to watch the Yankees win the World Series. F that. I turned it off. A couple of my buddies said, hey, man, let's go bowling. So I drove about 10, 15 minutes. Actually, it wasn't even that. I probably lived like less than 10 minutes away from the bowling alley. I turned the game off. I get to the bowling alley, and the bowling alley has those screens at the end of the lanes where every single one of them had the game on. And I'm watching the Arizona Cardinals celebrate. Huh? What? What in the world just happened? Yeah, I missed one of the greatest endings to a World Series in the history of baseball because at the time, I didn't subscribe to the rule, it ain't over till it's over. But that's the way it is in baseball, man. Weird things happen in baseball. Baseball, you can be 15-30 and all of a sudden go on a historic run and make it all the way to the World Series. Just to get swept. We don't have to go there. But, I mean, look at the Phillies a couple of years ago. The Washington Nationals a few years before that. Baseball's just weird, man. I don't know. All I know is Spencer Arrighetti, as great as he's been, bro, do not put that dude anywhere near a playoff start, please. All right, our playoff starters need to be Justin Verlander, Hunter Brown, Yusei Kikuchi, obviously Fromber. Who's number 5? I'm forgetting somebody obvious, actually. Hold on. Brown, Kikuchi, Fromber, Verlander, not Arrighetti. Who am I missing? I'm doing the name thing again. Wait, did I say Diamondbacks and not bro? I didn't. Okay, sorry. Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm sorry if I said Cardinals. Oh yeah, obviously Ronel Blanco. Thank you, Craig. Jesus. Once again, at least I'm not having an anxiety attack. I'm just forgetting names like I normally do. It's a normal show now. Thank you. Yes, Ronel Blanco. He definitely, obviously needs to be in the starting rotation. I don't want Arrighetti near Like, Arrighetti needs to come in if the Astros are blowing somebody out. For sure. And it's, look, I know he's a good strikeout pitcher, but his ERA already wasn't great. And yes, he had 2-3 really good games in a row. But I'm sorry, bro. You gave up 9 runs to the Reds in the first inning. Look, it's not unusual to get roughed up in the first inning. It happens to the greats. It happens to Verlander sometimes. But when Verlander gets roughed up in the first, he gives up 3, 4, maybe 5 runs, not 9. Nah, keep that dude away from the playoffs, at least starting. Don't put him in any critical situations, I say. And that's with all due respect to you, Spencer, man. You've had a great run. You've really outplayed the level of prospect you're supposed to be up to this point. And I think there's just better guys to put in crucial situations in the playoffs. Craig says, you need me in your ear, producer Craig. Bro, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. It's very true. It gets a little bit taxing doing this by myself, man. We might have to talk. We might have to talk. Ricardo Palacio says you need a drink. What you don't know, Ricky, is I had a drink before the show started. Thank you. Because this is not an FCC regulated show. And I could be drunk if I wanted to be, but I'm not. Yeah, I definitely wanted to calm the nerves a little bit after last week. So anyway, I'm getting off topic. The Astros, they get swept by the Reds. It's not the end of the world. They still have a 4.5 game lead on the Mariners. We may get Kyle Tucker back this weekend. Maybe. I think we're going to need Kyle Tucker in stride by the time we get to the series, the last series of the season. And that's against the Cleveland Guardians. So listen, does that mean I'm completely dismissing the Mariners in the series prior to that? Yes, I am. But the path to the Astros winning the division by the time they get to the Mariners series is now a little bit tougher because now you got Arizona coming in. Arizona's good. You have to at least win that series. You're probably not going to sweep them, but you got to get 2 out of 3. You have got to sweep Oakland now because you just got swept by Cincinnati. Now you got to sweep Oakland. And honestly, you probably should be able to sweep the Angels too. That's what worries me, man. I'm not worried about the Astros when they play good teams. It's when they play teams that suck. Okay. So, yeah, because the Padres, yeah, I mean, I said last show that by the time you get to the Padres, you might be able to afford to lose that series, maybe only get 1 out of 3, but not now. Not now that you've been swept by Cincinnati. You need to win the Arizona series. You need to sweep either Oakland or the Angels, one or the two. And the one that you don't sweep, you need to win 2 out of 3. Then maybe you can still take 1 from San Diego. You need to win. It's a 4-game series after that against the Angels. That you should at least split, if not win 3-1. By that time, you could be closing out Seattle. You could be 1, maybe 2 wins away from closing Seattle out completely and winning the division. Then you go into the Cleveland series. If you play your cards right, if you win enough games, that series may be to determine who gets a bye in the first round and who gets home field advantage in the playoffs. Because you're really, really close to Cleveland. Matter of fact, I know you guys love when I do this, but I'm going to check just how far away from Cleveland they are really quick. Unless Craig knows already. Let's see. Standings. Cleveland is 80 and 60. Yeah, we're still several games back. Yeah, we're 5 games back. You need Cleveland to and honestly, Cleveland, they're only 5-5 in their last 10. They're on a 1-game losing streak right now. So maybe they help you out and they lose some more games. But you cannot, please do not go to either Oakland or to Los Angeles to play the Angels and get swept again. That cannot happen. You cannot get swept by any more crappy teams because you got some good teams on the schedule. And so This is the point of the season where you got to start playing your best. This is the point of the season you got to start establishing, okay, this is who's going to go into October hot. And I know I'm speaking a little ahead of ourselves because we haven't made it to October yet, but I expect the Astros' destiny is in their own hands. They're 4.5 games up. Seattle is not playing well. All the people they added in the at the trade deadline, nobody's really making a difference offensively. Their manager got fired. They're a dumpster fire. You should be able to win this division. So I'm not really concerned. I'm concerned about how much rhythm, how much momentum are you going to have going into October. Cody Bunker says Astros got to play as this is the last game to get in the playoffs. We can't take any chances. Dude, I agree with you. As a matter of fact, my notes here say the Astros are still okay, but the margin for error is thinning. I would hate to have to look back on this Red series and say that was the one. That's the one that got us. Like I said, I don't think the Astros are going to miss the playoffs. But I don't know, man. That one just hurt. Especially coming off of the Kansas City series. You're feeling so confident. And maybe they were overconfident. I don't really buy into that. Overconfidence, overlooking a certain team, especially in baseball. Like baseball, it's pitcher versus batter. I'm going to throw you my best stuff. Try to hit it. And the Reds hit a lot of our stuff. And then we did not hit any of their stuff, pretty much. So, yeah, I agree with you, Cody, 100%. Hey, Cody, you want to get a chance to win some free Houston Sports State of the Union podcast swag? I'm going to put the number up right here. Let me make sure I'm connected on Bluetooth. I've actually never spoken to you either in person or on the phone, Cody. So I'm going to give you a shot. If you can answer some Houston sports trivia, I'm going to give you a shot. Let's just have some fun and play a game. So let's see. I am connected. That's the number, 832-835-3141. Hopefully none of these bots on Kick that are sending me spam will be the ones who call. I guess I'll know by the area code if it happens. But I'm going to give you a little bit of time, Cody, if you want to call in. Or Craig, you won a t-shirt last time. You didn't do that. You did okay on the trivia. And I still hooked you up because you're my boy. I would like to try to give away some swag to somebody who doesn't have any. But ultimately, let me just say this. If I don't get a phone call, I don't have any Houston Rockets news, but please go read my latest article in the Dream Shake. It's about Ime Udoka. Is this a prove-it year for the Rockets head coach? Without giving away the goose and the gander, I think I'm getting a phone call, guys. Give me just a moment. Cody, is that you? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, who am I speaking to?
This is Cody Bunker.
What's up, Cody? This is Nick Stevenson, president of Houston Sports. Thanks so much for calling in, man. It's good to hear your voice. I've actually never talked to you in person. I think we are strictly social media bound at this point. But I look forward to changing that, man. Thanks for calling in, man. How's it going? I hope you're enjoying the show so far.
Oh, it's going great, man. Just had a few beers, a few alcoholic or
yeah. I'm behind you, man. I need to get on your level, I think. So what would you say your level of Houston sports knowledge, like if you get between 1 being not so great, 5 being the best, what would you rate yourself?
I'd say probably about 5 out of 10, maybe.
5 out of 10. Okay. What team is the team you follow the most?
Astros.
The Astros? Okay. So I can ask you some Astros trivia and you'd probably do pretty well, right? You think?
I would maybe, yeah.
Okay. This is what we'll do. I'll try to find some good Astros trivia. I'm shuffling through some cards right now, so you guys forgive me. Let's go ahead and get some background music in there. All right. Why is all of this? None of this is Astros. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. How long have you been an Astros fan?
30 years old, so I'd probably
You're breaking up a little bit. Say that again.
I'd say probably about 32 years. I'm 32 years old, so
Okay.
it makes sense.
Well, I'm going to ask you a 2007 Astros question. You think you can get it?
Maybe.
All right, let's try it. Let's try it. We'll give it a shot. I'm going to give you a secret, Cody. No matter what happens, you're walking out of here with a t-shirt. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you calling in. But let's just have a little fun while we're at it. All right, in June 2007, who joked about getting quote-unquote second billing after he hit an 11th inning walk-off grand slam for the Astros the same night Craig Biggio picked up his 3,000th hit? I can't give you too long.
2007, right?
2007, he joked that he got second billing after he hit an 11th inning walk-off grand slam for the Astros on the same night Craig Biggio picked up his 3,000th hit. I can give you a hint if you need it.
You know, I have a name in mind, but let me get that hint real quick.
All right. His nickname was El Caballo.
Carlos Beltran.
Oh, so close. It was Carlos Lee. It was the other Carlos.
God dang it.
Yeah. See, remember we signed Carlos Lee 2 years after Beltran walked away, and that was supposed to be okay for Astros fans. That's okay. Let me find you one more, dude. Like I said, you're walking at it. What size t-shirt do you wear, by the way? You want to say that in front of everybody? You're a pretty fit guy.
Do I want to say what?
What size t-shirt do you wear?
XL.
There you go. All right. I'm gonna make sure you get one. Let me ask you one more. Let's see. That's Houston Cougars. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
After pitching for the Astros from 2002 through 2007, for what team did Brad Lidge earn a save and a championship ring when he pitched the 9th inning in Game 5 of the 2008 World Series?
2008 World Series. Oh, my gosh.
Brad Lidge did not blow a save the entire season, and it pissed every Astros fan off. All the way to the World Series.
Yeah, I know, because he gave up the home run against Pujols.
Yeah, and he was never the same.
Now.
All right, I'm going to tell you.
It was the Dodgers, but...
Oh, no. It was the Philadelphia Phillies. Hey,
God
Cody.
bless America.
Yeah. Those are a little bit older Astros questions. I'm going to have to shuffle through and get some more up-to-date stuff for some more recent. I don't know about you, man. My short-term memory is terrible. My long-term memory is really, really good. So those questions I probably would have gotten, but there's probably a lot of heartache in between there and where we are now that you've tried to forget. So I understand 100%. Cody, it is so cool that you called. It's so cool for you to listen to the show. I know there's an NFL game going on. How are you doing on your fantasy football right now?
So far, I'm winning. The rest of the weekend's going to determine what happens.
Yeah. Did you get more points from Zay or from... You had Zay Flowers, and who else is on your team?
4 right now.
Okay, you said you had Zay Flowers, and who else?
I got Zay Flowers and Harrison Butker. So,
okay.
And he's got Mahomes and Derrick Henry. So,
all right, man. Well, good luck in that, man, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for calling in, man. I'm gonna message you after the show so I can figure out where to send your T-shirt. All right, buddy?
All right, thank you, brother.
Hey, thanks so much, man. I hope to see you next week. All right.
Have a good one.
You too. That was Cody Bunker, and that is what I love to do. Give away free swag. You don't even have to get the questions right. All you got to do is call in. That's all I need you to do. Call in and win free stuff. That is the best game possible. Just call in and win. That's all you got to do. All righty. Guys, the state of the union in Houston is strong. Very, very strong. Football season's right around the corner. The Astros are in really good position to be in the playoffs, to win their division. It's a great time to be a Houston sports fan. I thank you guys so much for joining me this evening in the middle of a football game, battling with Thursday night football. What was I thinking? Next week, the show is going to be on Wednesday. I'm not gonna put myself up against football 2 weeks in a row. But I hope you guys will tune in. Before I go, though, I do want to remind you once more of the ways you can support the show. One of them you have been doing this entire time. Please watch, please listen, please share with your friends and family. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe wherever you get your podcast fix. The audio will be available for this podcast in about an hour's time after this live is over. And if that's what you prefer to do, listen, put it on while you're in the car, put it in the earbuds while you're at the gym. Whatever you do to support this show, I really, really appreciate it. The number one thing you can do is listen to it and share it with others. You guys be on the lookout for the Twin Toros podcast. Like I said, I'm probably going to drop that first video Friday. I'll be sharing it with you guys. My buddy Ruben is extremely talented. He's hungry. He's got fire. He's got a much bigger following than I have because he's been putting in the work. And that's what I love about him and the work that he does. So the Twin Toros podcast is going to be fire. I'm really looking forward to it. Guys, there's a QR code right there if you'd like to leave me a tip. I would love to accept that graciously. Last time, I would love to accept that graciously. It's going to go directly back into the show. It's going to go into me bringing you guys more content. And then I would like for you guys, to check out the affiliate links in the description of this video. There's Houston Sports Fan Gear, and there's also affiliate links for the equipment I use to do this podcast. Maybe you've been thinking about starting a podcast yourself, and you're wondering, hey man, his show looks pretty cool. I wonder what he uses. Well, I've got the links to all of the equipment that I'm using in the description. If you use that link to purchase any of this equipment, I will get some change from that, and I really, really appreciate it. Lastly, I do still have sponsorship opportunities. If you're interested in sponsoring your business, I would love to represent your business. I would love to help grow your business, and we can help grow our businesses together. Okay, so thank you guys so much. Like I said, a million different things you could be doing, but you decided to spend some time with me tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you do it again next week on Wednesday. In the meantime, you know what I want you to do. I want you to stay 10 toes down for the city I love, H-Town. I love you guys. Good night.
This has been the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, hosted by Nick Stevenson. Tune in next week for more news and analysis of your favorite Houston teams. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, the app, formerly known as Twitter, if that's even really still a thing. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.